In recent years, as my coaching experience has grown, I've discovered the power in asking questions. Essentially, that's what coaching is. It's about the coach asking questions to the coachee so that the coachee discovers their own answers to any problems that they might be having. I would describe coaching to be very similar to hypnotherapy, but the only difference being with hypnotherapy, you use your subconscious mind, whereas with coaching, the client uses their prefrontal cortex or their thinking brain in order to, come up with the answers to the questions. After having been a life coach for quite a few years, I've realised that because I'm so analytical, the types of questions that I've been asking people has also been very analytical. So I've been kind of encouraging them through the questioning process to analyse their problems or the situation that they're trying to overcome or deal with in ways that they hadn't usually looked at it in a lot more detail, and really taking the questioning process to the extreme level. And what I was finding was that the deeper the questioning became, or the more analytical it became, the more people came to a point where they realised they actually didn't have a problem. It almost was like they got to a point where the only answer they could give, the only option available, was that there was actually no problem. The only problem was that they had believed and convinced themselves that there was a problem. That's not to say that the situation changed. So, for example, say you have a swollen ankle and it's painful. Just because you now perceive it to not be a problem, it doesn't mean that the swollen ankle suddenly goes away. The swollen ankle is still going to be a swollen ankle, but your perception towards it changes, and the swollen ankle just becomes a situation, an experience rather than a problem. Having said that, there's lots of evidence and research to suggest that when we do have a more positive mindset, it is actually more likely that the problem, the situation, let's say the swollen ankle, it is actually going to heal much quicker. So although it won't instantaneously go away, like with a new mindset, suddenly the situation's changed. However, because of the new thought process, we will manifest healing much quicker than we would if we kept telling ourselves it was a problem, it's hurting, it's a problem, it's hurting. Resistance creates persistence. And this is one of the fundamental teachings that's being passed down from so many of the prophets. It's kind of got lost, really, which is a shame. Resistance creates persistence. And that's because the more we don't like a situation and the more we resist it by telling ourselves it's a problem, I don't want that, go away, the more what we're doing is we're energizing it. We're sending more energy onto that focus point. By sending more energy onto that focus point, the situation, we're actually keeping the situation in that place. We're actually manifesting it to stay the same or get worse, because the more energy we put into it, the bigger it's going to get. So I just thought that was really interesting. And another interesting fun fact, since that's true on a psychological level, so the more we think and the more we break down a problem or a thought process or a belief pattern system into the really, really small components of what it actually is that is going on, like, looking behind the scenes a little bit and doing some investigation, what's there, the more we find that actually there's nothing. We think we've got a problem, but when we put the problem under the microscope, it disappears. It's not a problem anymore. And interestingly, and I love quantum physics for this reason, in the quantum physics world, the same thing happens. So just like it happens in your mind, it also happens in the physical world too. If you take the smallest component of a physical object, like me, my hair, the phone, your handbag, your table, your chair that you're sitting on, anything that's physical that you can touch, when we look underneath the surface, what we find is everything is made up from atoms. The basic science that we studied in physics years and years ago. Inside the atom, there's an electron, a neutron, and protons. And then when you look inside those, what do you find? 99.99999 to infinity, empty space. So it's very mind-boggling But essentially, we are just empty space, which means that not only does my problem not exist, but I don't exist either. So I don't know where to go from there really, but anyway, just an interesting fact, and let me know your thoughts. Thanks.